Hey guys, welcome back to Destin Reads Romance. I'm Destin, and today I'm going to be going over all the books that I want to read in June. I do also want to point out that I'm wearing my new shirt that I got from Hello Lovely Box. This is not sponsored, but oh my god, it's the wallflowers! You guys know, if you've watched any videos on my channel, that I love Lisa Kleypas. She's one of my favorite authors of all time. Not only my favorite historical author, just like plain old favorite of all time. So I had to have these shirts that they made, and I'm just so happy. I love them so much. To kick off the books that I'm going to be reading in June, I'm going to be going over the podcast books that I will be doing. The first one is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I'm so excited to be talking about this with Juliet. It's been a highly requested episode for us to do on the podcast, and I was so excited to reread this book because it's one of my favorites by Penelope Douglas, and it's also the reason why I really haven't read other standalones besides Credence. Don't really want to talk about that book, but I haven't read like Punk 57 or Misconduct because I want every one of her standalones to give me the same feelings that Birthday Girl does. I love it. It's an age gap taboo. I'm crushing on my boyfriend's dad romance. It is amazing. Amazing. Next I have Say Yes to the Duke by Eloisa James. This is the 5th book in her Wilds of Lindo Castle. I really enjoyed this book. I know not a lot of people felt the same way, but I totally resonated with Viola so much, and I can't wait for Juliet to read this one. I hope she loves it just as much as me. This is one of those ones where she hasn't read the book yet, but it'll be interesting to see what she thinks. She loves Eloisa James though, but she has not read The Wilds of Lindo Castle yet. And then finally, we're gonna have a shorter month this month because we're gonna go on break for the podcast. We have Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Gessinger. This is an interesting mafia romance. It's very different because the hero is in the Russian mafia, but the heroine is just like a plain Jane. Regular old Joe, she's not involved in any of that, and then he moves in next door. And it's very interesting. I love it. It's the first book in her new series, Queens and Monsters. I can't wait for the next book. I'll talk about that one later. And then since we have a shortened month, we are going to be doing a mini-sode, and the theme of this mini-sode is small interactions that make us swoon. So just not big grand gestury thing, something super obvious that would make us swoon, but something little that you wouldn't notice, but it's just it gives us the chills. So I can't wait for that episode as well, that mini-sode. Now for the arcs that I will be reading for the month of June. A lot of these arcs aren't coming out until July, but I decided to get a head start on them, and I've been loving the way that I've been doing arcs this year, so I definitely want to stay on my game and keep up with my arcs and not have any last minute sprints for it. So the first book that I have is Last Guard by Nalini Singh. This is the book 20 in the Side Changeling series. Technically it's a new arc of the story, so it's book 5 in the Side Trinity series, whatever, but it's still the same series. When reading the synopsis of this book, I didn't recognize the names, but I totally could be blanking. I probably need to reread Wolf Rain and also Alpha Knight, which both of those books I really enjoyed, to see if I miss these characters showing up. It's just not ringing a bell, so I definitely need to reread Wolf Rain and Alpha Knight. But this is going to be a Psy pairing, and I'm not saying that I don't like all Psy pairings, but I do prefer the ones that actually involve changelings, as at least one part of the couple could be a changeling pairing. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I have high hopes because I just love this series in general, one of my favorite comfort read series, and I'm just liking the new direction of the books that she's been doing recently. There's definitely certain characters that I want to show up, and I'm just waiting for their book. Next I have Hot Under His Collar by Andy J. Christopher. I've never read a book by Andy J. Christopher. I don't even remember requesting this book, but I know that I requested it because it involves a hero who is a priest. Now, he is planning on leaving the priesthood. He's not planning on staying there, so it's not as taboo. It doesn't sound like it's going to be as taboo as Priest by Sierra Simone. I think it's going to be lighter, rom-com-y, and one of his parishioners, I think, has had a crush on him, and she helps with fundraisers and stuff, so it's going to be a romance between them. This will be the first time that I'm reading Andy J. Christopher, and yeah, I hope it's going to be good. Then I have The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. Now, I did not like the first book in this series. It just wasn't my favorite. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. It was fine. I had some issues with it, but I do want to give it another shot because I like the premise of these books. Also, I'm not sure if the heroine of The Viscount Made Me Do It is related to the heroine of the first book, but she is a daughter of a Middle Eastern merchant, so there is that possibility. I just can't recall any of the names of her family that she mentions, but I'm going to go dive back into the first book to see if she is related. I'm crossing my fingers that I'll enjoy this book better. The heroine is a bone setter, one of the only female bone setters, and the hero ends up by being one of her clients. She has to fix him up, and I think that there's some mystery about his parents were killed, So it sounds like it's going to be a good time. Now for my book club books. The Rake Appreciation Society is reading Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. I have not read a ton by Beverly Jenkins, but I do know that Indigo is like one of the ones that everyone like talks about. Like this was her best one. So I'm really excited to be reading that one. That'll be earlier on in the month. I would have to double check the dates and then put it right here because I forgot what day that live show is going to be. And I think it'll be on Crystal's channel, but I will definitely double check and make sure you'll see it right here. You'll see it right here. And for the Historical Hellions book club, they're going to be reading Untamed by Elizabeth Lowell. I have read the 3rd book in the series, but I'm wondering if this series would have been better read in order. So I didn't quite love, I think it was the 3rd book in the series. I think it was Enchanted. I didn't like that one that much. It is medieval historical romance and it has a little bit of like magical elements to it. So like historical fantasy elements. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this one. I hope it turns out much better. It has a very like famous step back. I've seen it a lot on Step Back Saturdays. Like look at that. Oh. It's beautiful. I love it. Gorgeous. So I do have high hopes for Untamed. Then of course, there is the Mafia readathon that's happening from the 4th through the 6th. I'll be reading all the books that I have planned. I say all the books. I'll be reading as many books as I can because I put a lot of books on my TBR. You can go check out that video if you want to know all the books that I'm going to be reading. But it's a lot for a weekend readathon. I will try my hardest to read as many as I can. Ooh, now for the new releases. Of course I'm excited for Real by Kennedy Ryan. This is going to be the first book in her Hollywood Renaissance series. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm always like hesitant, not hesitant, but like every time I pick up a Kennedy Ryan book, I'm like, I hope it's as good as all the books that like I really love and I gush about. Every single time that I open a book, I'm just like, I hope. And then she blows me away. This sounds really interesting. It's a romance between a director, very famous director, and an up-and-coming Hollywood starlet. She's actually only ever been in like Broadway, and this is her first Hollywood role. And I think it's a biopic. She's going to be playing a woman in the 20s, and I'm just very intrigued. I love the dress that the cover model is wearing and also the bicep bulge. Oh, yes. Then The Bully by Sophie Lark is coming out. Oh my God. I cannot wait. Dean Yenin. He is a bad boy. This is going to be a dark romance, dark mafia children romance. Oh, I'm so here for it. I love this series. I think you very much have to read The Rebel before you read The Bully. Like you have to read them in order to get the full impact of Dean and the heroine, the love interest, which I'm not going to say because it's not mentioned and I just don't want, it's kind of spoiler. So read the whole series, then read The Bully. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And then Penelope Douglas is releasing Tris 6 Venom, which is going to be, I think, her first sapphic romance. So I'm excited about this one. It sounds like both of the heroines are Catholic girls and they're used to being like good girls. Might be opposites attract as well. I tried not to read too much of the blurb because I just kind of want to go in and experience it, be along for the ride. I also have high hopes for this one because I only have read maybe 2 sapphic romances and they've all been novella length. So this will be my first full length one that I'm going to read. I'm very curious to see what Penelope Douglas comes up with. Then we have the priest romance that I'm really excited about, Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. It sounds so cool. Taboo dark romance. It's a priest and I think he's a teacher at a boarding school, college, something like that. And the heroine is a student, so doubly taboo, doubly taboo. If anyone can pull it off, it's Pam Godwin. I totally trust her. I'm beyond excited for this. Beyond excited. And finally, Carnal Urges, which is the second book in JT Gessinger's Queens and Monsters romance, Mafia romance series. I'm so excited because the way that Ruthless Creatures ends, it sets up this couple and I love it because this is going to involve the Irish mob and it's just going to be so good. I know it's going to be so good. Also, when Jen showed me this cover because she was part of like the cover reveal team, she showed me this cover and I was like, he's my husband. I'm marrying him. I love this cover model. He's so hot. He's so hot. Now, there are a few books that I would like to get to, but these aren't books that are set in stone. But I do want to get back into the 10 series by Devney Perry. The G word is a slur. I wish that she would relabel the series. It would require a lot of effort to go back and go edit the actual books themselves because it's the name of the motorcycle club in this series, but I really enjoy it. I wish she would do it. I want to read Stone Princess. I want to pick up where I left off. Ribbon Knight was just a little bit heavier than I expected because I loved the first book in the series, but I need to get back in this series. I love these covers so much. It's definitely a case of like I bought these books originally because of the covers, but then I really liked it because MC romances it's not one of my favorites in the romance genre, because I don't like some of the cultural aspects of MC romances, like the way that they disrespect women, talk about women, the language that they use toward women specifically. It should be one of my favorite genres because tattooed alpha bikers, vigilantes, that's all my jam, but the way that they treat women, not in this series in particular, just in the majority of MC romances, I don't like it, and I wish more authors would veer away from that kind of atmosphere in MC romances and do more like this. And Gianna Darlings too. It could still be dark, it could still be gritty, but like I need the respect. Then I really want to try and read Punk 57. I've owned this book for the longest time, but it's one of the cases of a lot of people love this book a lot, but like Birthday Girl is my all-time favorite by Penelope Douglas, and I'm scared of having too much expectations for it to like trump Birthday Girl, even though they have totally different vibes. I want it to be everything that everyone says it's going to be, so that's why I have not picked it up, because it's been hyped a lot. So I'm afraid, but I want to read it. So I want to read it for June. I'm going to be creating a spinner wheel for this month, like of all my TBR books, so that hopefully it gets picked early on in the month and I'll be like forced to read it like early on. Then I have When the Stars Fall by Emery Rose. I read a duet by Emery Rose late last year. I really liked it. Definitely higher on the angst scale than I normally would love, but it still worked for me. So that's another reason why I haven't picked up this book, because I know that part of Emery Rose's formula is separation, that the hero and the heroine have sort of like a young romance, a young love, and then they're separated for like 4 or 5 years and they reconnect. So it's like young love, romance, and then second chance all rolled in one. I normally don't like it, but I really like the duet that I read by Emery Rose, and I want to read this book now. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite covers, of 2020, so I need to read it. Okay, now for the spinner wheels. I'm going to do my historical collection. I'm going to pick, some of these are old school, some of these are like early 2000s, so I just kind of like, whatever. But let's see what I have in store for myself for this month. Shadow of the Storm by Deborah Deer. This is one of my more recent purchases from eBay. Definitely a case of like the cover looks beautiful and I just had to have it. I have a couple of Deborah Deers. So here's a synopsis. It says, deadly deception and sizzling desire heat up New York's high society. Here's her dashing childhood hero, man to whom she'd willingly surrendered her innocence in a night of blazing ecstasy. But when Ian Tremaine cruelly abandoned her after a bitter misunderstanding, Sabrina O'Neill vowed revenge on the handsome Yankee. Risking a daring masquerade, Sabrina plunged into the glittering world of New York high society, determined to make Ian pay. But the virile Tremaine was more than ready for the challenge. Together they would enter a high-stakes game of deadly illusion and sizzling desire that might shatter Sabrina's well-crafted facade and leave both their lives in ruin. Sounds like it's chock full of drama. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one, guys. Don't know how I'm going to feel about that one. Okay, let's do my next pick. I think I'm going to do my Kindle Unlimited pick next. So for Kindle Unlimited, these are books that I either have already checked out or that I've just seen in passing. I have a lot on this wheel, so let's see what is going to be picked. The Fourth Time Charm by Maya Hughes. I thought it was going to be Our Way by T.L. Swan. It's a book that I've kind of been avoiding because I haven't read too many T.L. Swans that she's published independently that I liked, but I love the premise of Our Way. But I've been meaning to read The Fourth Time Charm by Maya Hughes. It's a good college romance, good NA romance, so I am excited about that one. Okay, one more. These are books that I have purchased or gotten for free with book sales and stuff. I already own them, and I put them on the list, as I think some of these are also on paperback. I see Punk 57 in there, so there is that. Wouldn't it be funny if it already picked Punk 57 for me? It'd be like, read it, Jessen. Okay, let's see what it does. Just for Him by Talia Hibbert. I think I actually have the box set. I'm not sure if the Just for Him is like the title of the series or if it's the title of the first book. Let's see. Yeah, it's the title of the entire box set. I'm not gonna read the whole box set. I will read book 1, and that one's called Bad for the Boss. I'm pretty sure that this is the one that connects to Work for It, which is a great MM romance by Talia Hibbert. I'm not sure, I can't remember the names, but it is like a billionaire romance. And let's see. So it seems like the heroine Jen has some troubled past things going on, possibly a stalker, but I'm not quite sure. And they kind of have like a contentious relationship. Jen is falling for her boss but knows that she shouldn't, so I'm all for it. I've been meaning to read this series. I know that a lot of people said that it's one of Talia Hibbert's steamier series, so I'm curious to see what that's like. All right, guys, that's it. That's all the books that I have for June. I'm really excited. It's a big list. I also have 2 vlogs planned that I would like to get done during the month of June. It's kind of secret TBR. I will give you a hint for one of them. The hint for this particular vlog would be the more the merrier. So see if you can figure that out in the comments if you have any idea what kind of reading vlog that I'd be doing with that hint. And the other reading vlog, the books would be Alien Dating Service, Haunted House, and Antarctica. So those are my hints for my reading vlogs that I plan on doing for the month of June. I'm so excited about this. I'm wondering if June might be the month where I read the most books that I've read so far in 2021, but I also don't want to jinx myself. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to get notified in any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye, guys.